Hi, I'm Andrew Cresses, and today I'm going to explain to you how to become a happier, healthier person. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start with the story of a guy named Chip. Then I'm going to explain the lessons to be taken from Chip's story, and how we can all use these lessons to lead more fulfilling lives. Now, on to the story of Chip. This is Chip, just your regular average guy. He has a wife named Marla, 2 kids named John and Ashley, and a dog named Roscoe. They live in a nice house with plenty of space for them. The house and the yards are generally in good condition, and there are rarely any issues that Chip and Marla can't handle. Occasionally, Chip and Marla get tired of the house, so they take off work and go on vacation with the kids. Chip works as a lawyer for a large firm in the city, and he lives in the suburbs with his family. He does good work for his firm, and he earns a good salary and healthcare benefits because of it. He doesn't really need them, though. Chip rarely gets sick or injured. In fact, no one in the family really does. Things always seem to run very smoothly for Chip and his family, and illness never interferes with their daily lives. They live in a nice neighborhood with lots of space for the kids and Roscoe to play. John and Ashley go to one of the best schools around. They do well in their classes, and Marla does well in her job. She works as an accounting executive at a successful business that is just down the street from Chip's office. She also earns a good salary and has health care benefits she doesn't need. They carpool to work every day. Sometimes Chip drives, and sometimes it's Marla. They have a nice car that runs well and rarely has any issues. Chip's job usually runs smoothly as well, and there are rarely any problems that he can't handle. Chip has a great lunch every day. Sometimes he goes out to eat at restaurants near his office, and other times he packs his own. Chip always finishes work on time, and he never really has to bring any of it home with him or stay late at the office. Sometimes he picks up Marla, and sometimes she picks up him. They drive home together, and they pick up the kids from their after-school program on the way. They're almost always on time, because they never really seem to struggle with traffic. When they arrive at home, Chip and Marla will cook dinner as the kids do their homework, or play with Roscoe or their friends. Sometimes they'll order out, and Chip will get a chance to watch his favorite TV program, or read a book instead of cooking. Every once in a while, Chip and his family will go out to eat at a local restaurant instead. On the weekends, Chip will fill his time in different ways. Sometimes he'll drive to the park and engage in his favorite hobby of driving remote-control boats around the lake. Other times he'll stay at home. He may read his books and catch up on his favorite TV shows, or he might just do some work around the house. Sometimes he and his family take day trips into the city or off to the mountains. Chip leads a very simple and successful life. Things always run very smoothly for him, and yet his family, nothing ever seems to go wrong. He has a great family, a nice house, and plenty of free time. Chip's seemingly perfect life is the envy of all his colleagues. Yet he's never really happy, and none of them can quite see why. Nothing ever seems to go wrong with Chip's life, but to him, nothing ever seems to be right. Everything is just fine with his career, and he does plenty of fun things with his family, but things just feel very empty to Chip. To him, the world just seems to be an unhappy place, and his exceptionally good life feels like a hollow shell. He can't seem to see why. Chip suffers from moderate depression. In fact, nearly 1 in every 10 Americans does. It's a serious problem in today's society, and to some, it's unavoidable. Life just feels empty, and you can't see him or don't even want to try to make yourself happy. It's a horrible existence, and medicine to treat it is even worse. Antidepressants don't always work, and even if they do, you have to deal with some pretty awful side effects. Not being able to sleep, not being able to stay awake, chronic migraines, highly increased risk of stroke, and increased thoughts of suicide are just some of the terrible things that antidepressants bring with them. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be another option, but maybe by studying Chip's story, we can find one. When we start to really look at Chip's life, we can see a few distinct patterns. Not only are these trends prevalent in his life, but also they're prevalent in the lives of many Americans. It seems perfectly normal that Chip drives to work every day, and it sounds fine that he chooses to spend his free time reading books, watching TV, and piloting remote control boats at the park. Chip carpools to and from work every day with his wife, sometimes driving, sometimes not. Chip almost always gets all of his work done, and he has a great lunch every day. Every evening, he spends quality time with his family, often over dinner. On the weekends, he regularly takes great day trips with his family, and they have fun vacations whenever he can take off work. First of all of these things seem perfectly normal, even ideal. But when we start to look at them, there are some serious problems. Chip may do plenty of fun things in his spare time, but they're all pretty lazy things. He gets almost no physical exercise. Chip may spend lots of quality time with his family, but it's only with his family. He's a very solitary man. These are problems that a lot of Americans have. Research from the CDC shows that nearly 80% of Americans don't get the recommended amount of aerobic exercise, and nearly 30% get none at all. A study done by the Pew Research Center shows that 29% of Americans know very few of their neighbors, and 28% know none. Daily exercise has been shown to greatly increase overall happiness and reduce the risk of developing depression. This is because it increases neurogenesis. Neurogenesis is the production of new brain cells. An increased production of brain cells means an increased production of happy chemicals. Making friends and getting involved in one's community gives life a strong sense of purpose, and it makes life much more fulfilling. Volunteering is the perfect way to help others while helping yourself. It's a great way to relieve stress, and you'll make new friends while you're doing it. Getting to know your community means that you'll have a strong social support system there for you should you ever need it. Whether you suffer from depression and are looking for help, or you're just looking to lead a happier life, there's hope. But you have to start getting active. If you don't want to get your physical activity purely as exercise, run to work, pick up a sport, or play outside with your kids. If you don't have time for any of these, just try and get in as much aerobic exercise as you can. Whether you have depression or not, don't be afraid to reach out to people just because they might not accept you. Volunteer organizations in particular are very welcoming. If volunteering isn't your thing, join a club. If you don't have time for those, try to make new friends in your community. Start with your neighbors, or if your kids have friends, start with their parents. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Your new friends will always be close by, and they'll always be there if you need them.